Alrighty. Volume. You probably remember we used to do volume because it was always a rectangular prism, and we would always say base times, length times width times. You know, that thing you always used to say. Length times width times height, which is true. But this ends up being the big base, which is why it works. All right, so volume formula. Big B, H, area of the base, times the height. So, if I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking they're calling this the base because it's shaded, which means we have two bases, right? Although it doesn't matter for this. That means this is the height, that's the length, and that's the width. So the base formula is length times width. So volume equals 8 times 5 times 22. So our units for this are cubed because we're multiplying meters times meters times meters, which is cubic meters. Okay. Prism. We know where the bases are. This is basically the one we did on our last notes. All right, so the name is triangular prism. The base is 1/2 base times height. So the volume is 1/2 4 times 3 times 7. So 4 times 3, so here's how I do it. Half of 4, so it's really 2 times 3 times 7, which is 6 times 7, which is 42 centimeters, cubic centimeters. Okay. Got the same thing going on here, except my triangle on the bottom is equilateral, which I don't know how good I am at drawing equilateral, but there you go. Okay, so the triangle is 4 by 4, and the prism is 10. So I'm going to call 10 my height. The base formula is 1/2 base times height. So I have the little height. I have the, I'm going to have to do that triangle, which everything's 4, and I'm going to need to find the height, which is a 30, 60, 90. Which makes sense because I have x, 2x, x square root 3, 2, 4, 2 square root 3. All right, so my base is 1/2 4 times 2 the square root 3. So that's 2 times 2, so that's 4 square root 3. Okay, which apparently is 10 point, sounds a little high to me, but then we'll do the volume. times 10, which is 103.92 centimeters cubed. Okay, now let's work one backwards. So we have a pentagonal prism. Here's my volume, the area of the base. So this is my big B, and I'm looking for the height. So it doesn't really matter that it's a pentagonal prism, because they gave us this, they gave us this. So all I need to do is divide by 33, and H equals 5 meters. Okay, so let's talk about a cube. Remember we did this before. E is the edge, so the volume is base times the height. Well, the base is E squared, the height is E, so really I just cube my E. So if I'm looking for the volume of a cube with an edge of 9, my volume is basically 9 to the third power, which is 81 times 9, which is 729 cubic inches. Okay, and then our cylinder is still the same formula, but the base is pi r squared. So basically, the volume is pi r squared h. Okay, so here's an oblique cylinder because it's squished. It's not right angles. But they gave us the height, which is this. They gave us the diameter, which is this. So if 2.7 is the diameter, then the radius is 1.35. So the volume is going to be pi 1.35 squared times 5.1. That is equal to 31.403 cubic meters. Okay, let's work backwards. We said for a cylinder that our equation is pi r squared h. We're looking for the radius. Oh, they didn't give us the height, so I made one up. We're going to say this is 6 meters. So we're going to call that the height, because otherwise it's just weird. Okay, so we have 486 pi equals pi 6, so, oh, nope, r squared times 6. Okay, so if we divide both sides by pi and 6, then I end up with r squared equals 81, which means r equals 9 meters. All right, what if we have two things? All right, let's say that we have our rectangle on the we have a rectangular prism, and this is my base. And then my cylinder, that's going to be the base. Okay, so let's do the cylinder. So the base is pi r squared. The radius is 4. So the volume is going to be 16 pi times the height, which is also 4. So that's 64 pi, which is about 201.062 cubic feet. All right, and then the rectangular prism, and I colored in the base, so we're going to call the base we're calling, I got you. This goes with that, and the 12 goes on the bottom. So the base is 12 times 14. And then the height is 6. So volume equals 12 times 14 times 6, which is 1008. I'm going to add to that. Could have done it blue. 201.062 1209.062 cubic feet.